Footballers are regular people, and just like the guy next door, bad things can happen to them. Since football players are always in our faces and can do things that the average person is unable to do, it is very easy to assume that they do not go through the things regular people go through. Well, just like regular people, they get sick and sometimes get involved in accidents. If football players can get sick, then they can also get into situations that can cost them their lives both on and off the pitch. These are football players who almost died. Number 10. John Terry. During his time at Chelsea, John Terry was not just one of the best defenders in England, but one of the best on the planet, and Chelsea fans loved him for what he brought to the pitch week after week. As much as consistency and defending the goalpost like his life depended on it was great, putting his body between the ball and the post almost cost Terry his life in a match. While carrying out his defensive duties, the former Chelsea captain was kicked in the face by Arsenal's Diaby. The incident took place in a Carling Cup final between Chelsea and Arsenal. Although the kick in the face could have simply hurt the player, it did more than just cause pain. It made the Chelsea legend unconscious, and he almost choked on his own tongue. Terry could have died if not for an Arsenal medical staff that was on ground to help him back to consciousness. Arsenal's Lewin was treating one of his team's players when he noticed the issue with Terry and rushed to his aid. This simple gesture saved Terry's life, and John Terry did not fail to thank him for this. Number 9. Didier Drogba. John Terry is not the only Chelsea legend that almost died on the pitch. Former teammate and Ivorian striker Didier Drogba also came close to losing his life during a match. As an active footballer, Drogba was very physical, and this always worked in his favor. He was involved in several aerial duels. He won a lot of them and scored several goals as a result of this. Well, regardless of how much result Drogba's aerial physicality brought him and his team, it was not all perfect, as it almost cost him his life. While trying to get the ball into the net in a match between Chelsea and Norwich City, Drogba had a collision mid-air with Norwich City's goalie John Ruddy. Before this collision, it did not look like things could get this bad for the former captain of the Ivorian national team. However, Drogba needed to get off the pitch before recovering from this collision, as he had a heavy fall after the injury and had to be carried off the pitch on a stretcher. This was after his team's medical staff spent a while treating him on the pitch. Number 8. Fernando Torres. Speaking of heavy falls, Drogba is not the only one that has had to get off the pitch after a heavy fall. Former Chelsea teammate and ex-Spanish international also had a very heavy fall and had to be taken off the pitch. However, unlike Drogba, Torres did not have this experience while wearing a Chelsea jersey. He was playing for Atletico Madrid, another team known for its physical style of play when this happened. It was the 85th minute of a match between Atletico Madrid and Deportivo La Coruña when Torres collided with Alex Bergantinos of Deportivo La Coruña. The aerial duel which led to this collision was Torres' last action in this match. After this aerial duel, the Spaniard almost choked on his tongue and was becoming unconscious. Fortunately, some players on the pitch noticed this and had to open his mouth forcefully. After this, the players requested medical support. The medical staff spent several minutes treating Torres on the pitch before taking him off the pitch on a stretcher into a waiting ambulance and straight to the hospital. Number 7. Petr Cech. It appears Chelsea players have a thing for getting injured during a match. This is something that can be traced to the team's physicality during the Mourinho era. Just like Terry and Drogba, former Chelsea goalie Petr Cech got involved in an accident that almost cost him his life on the pitch. Chelsea were up against Reading when Reading's Hunt kicked Cech on the head. After this tackle, Cech was badly injured and had to put on protective gear for the rest of his career. While this made headlines, the man that most people held responsible for the injury had to deal with lots of accusations. After hitting Cech in the head, Hunt did not apologize, and several people do not like him just because of this. Well, Hunt claimed he had no intentions of hurting Cech, so the incident was purely an accident and he did not need to apologize as he believed he did nothing wrong. The former Reading player has admitted he wishes the incident never happened. However, he does not regret the tackle. Number 6. Fabrice Muamba. Muamba did not need any collision before he almost died on the pitch. The former Bolton player suffered a cardiac arrest in March 2012. This was in a match between Tottenham Hotspur and Bolton Wanderers. This incident was one that could have easily taken the player's life. However, the players around him noticed something odd very quickly and called out to the medical staff by the pitch side. Although other players on the pitch noticed him, Tottenham's Rafael van der Vaart noticed him first. One could say Muamba was lucky to have survived this incident. If it had happened just 6 years earlier, he probably would have died. Number 5. Neymar. Former Barcelona player Neymar is one of the few players that have almost died. However, unlike the players higher up in this video, Neymar's case did not happen on the pitch. The fact is, he was still a baby when it happened, so he obviously was not famous. This near-death experience that the Brazilian had to deal with did not involve only him. It involved his entire family. Neymar's father was driving with his entire family in the car. It began to rain so heavily that visibility became poor. Due to this, Neymar's dad lost control of his car and got involved in an accident. Although the accident in itself was bad news, the good news was neither Neymar nor anyone in his family was hurt. Before we go on, please hit the share and like buttons. Also, subscribe to our channel to see other videos like this. Number 4. Cristiano Ronaldo. If there is one thing Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar have in common, it is that they both came close to dying while off the pitch. Unlike Neymar, who was still a kid and had no control over the situation, CR7 was already a made player and was playing for Manchester United when this happened. The Portuguese captain got involved in an accident on the 8th of January 2009 on his way to training. Ronaldo had just gotten a Ferrari 3 days before this accident. This car was his dream car, and it was time for it to serve him. On the day of this accident, Ronaldo woke up late and his coach needed him in training earlier than normal. His team had just had an unexpected loss, so they needed to double up. CR7 woke up to see several calls and knew he had to get to training as soon as possible. So he got into his Ferrari and zoomed off. He needed to get to training in 20 minutes. This seemed impossible with a regular car. However, it was possible with the Ferrari. While driving so fast towards his team's training ground, CR7 lost control of the car and was involved in an accident. Amazingly, he got out of this accident without a scratch. Number 3. Lionel Messi. Speaking of some of the best players in the world almost losing their lives, Messi almost died in 2017. However, unlike Ronaldo's situation, he was on the pitch. Barcelona were up against Juventus, and this was one of the biggest games of the year. Messi's team were down by 3 goals from the first leg, so he just had to perform magic to see his team come out tops on aggregate. The Argentine knew what was at stake, and he was leaving nothing to chance. The first half came and both teams put everything into the game. However, they couldn't get anything from the match. In the second half, Messi did something that no one expected him to do. He went for the ball high up in the air and had an awkward fall. The former Barcelona captain almost broke his neck in the process. However, he was lucky he only felt slight discomfort. If he had experienced something severe, he probably would have had to quit the game early. Number 2. Christian Eriksen. Top-level sportsmen are very healthy people. They are usually physically and psychologically strong, so it is very uncommon to find them dealing with issues such as cardiac arrests. Nonetheless, sometimes they deal with such health challenges. Amazingly, there are times this happens in the middle of a game. One player that had to deal with a cardiac arrest in a match is Denmark and Manchester United's Christian Eriksen. Denmark were playing against Finland in Euro 2020 when Christian Eriksen collapsed. Although the midfielder is back and well, things could have actually been ugly. The player was believed to have given up. According to Martin Boesen, Denmark's team doctor, Christian Eriksen was gone for a couple of minutes. Well, one can say the Danish player was lucky to have survived and is lucky to still be playing actively. Number 1. Kaká. Christian Eriksen was able to achieve his dreams of playing football before almost losing his life. Unlike him, Brazilian legend Ricardo Kaká almost died way before he became a famous footballer. Kaká was 18 years old and already playing football professionally. However, he was not yet famous when he experienced a near-death incident. He dived into a shallow pool, and this led to a fracture of a vertebra. The situation was so bad, he could have actually never walked again. Well, one can say Kaká is lucky as he not only walked, he was able to get back to football and went on to accomplish a lot of great things as a professional footballer. Thanks for going all the way to the end of this video. Which of these footballers do you consider the luckiest? Please tell us in the comment section below.